Hey, Ivan. Well, long story short, nobody expected that to be happening today. Right.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Good evening, cops.
Hey there. Right. Was I William? You're aware that Ivan had difficulty trying to log into the academy accounts, right? Right.
Yeah.
Gents?
Well, also, I'm streaming on my end.
Okay, I'm into Twitch and I'm into the account. If you guys can just be so kind to give me
Right,
I'm guessing it's going to be around 5 Spain.
It's yeah.
All that's
Talk
going to
of the
be
Devil
changing.
League. Yeah, Talk of the Devil League Season 2, Round 5, Spain 2019.
Alright, camera 2. Right, let's get that all sorted. TOTD League Round 5, Spain 2019.
Yep.
And this is going to be camera 2. Right. That's all set. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I'm ready to start. And I'm live.
And we've just had Callum join the party as well.
Yeah, I can't join the session there, Kenzie. It's session full. Do you want to mind send me another invite? Not sure what happened there.
Right.
Let me exit the lobby then.
Aren't you racing, Ivan?
No. It's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, yeah.
I'm out.
You're going to be checking the stream on the website, Ivan.
Well, the race is about to begin, isn't it? So it's a bit too late to try and get you logged off now and then be logged in and goodies like that. So I'll just tune in on the multi-stream.
Right, that's
Oh
fine.
yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry,
yeah, but we'll still have you on there. We'll still have you on commentary, right?
Yeah. I'm here.
Right, that's fine. There we go. Right.
Oh, okay. Why are you in the lobby at the moment as well?
There we go.
No, it's cool, bro. Take as long as you need, bro.
Yeah.
There's 2 Callums,
Well,
right? There's Callum Games and then PK Callum.
Yeah, but Callum PK Callum informed us over the last couple of days that he ended up having a stroke, so that's why he's not able to race this evening.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. I wasn't sure which Callum it was. You're right, mate. Everything good? Yo, man.
Just take it easy, bro.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, brilliant. An excuse to game.
Fantastic.
yeah,
Send
well,
an
they
actual
tend usually
doctor's
not to
letter.
believe it.
I prescribe gaming 24/7.
Well, that's awesome stuff, but road to recovery, what's the expectations? You gonna be up and running short while?
Can take quite a while, bro.
Okay. Yes, but good luck, mate. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. In the meantime, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Talk of the Devil Racing League. It's round 5 of the championship this season. As you can tell from my tone, I'm not as enthusiastic this evening. There's a very somber mood in the Formula One community this evening because earlier this afternoon, Anton Hubert sadly lost his life after a very scary crash at the feature race in Belgium earlier this afternoon at the age of just 22.
Yes, that's actually a really sad moment for the sport.
Yeah. And just a few minutes ago on the official Formula 2 Twitter account on social media, they have decided to cancel the sprint race for tomorrow out of respect for Hubert and his family. And from all of us here at the Talk of the Devil League and for the Extreme One Racing League tomorrow, our thoughts and prayers are with those that have been affected by this horrific incident at this difficult time. But with me in the commentary box this evening is Willem Mare and Ivan. Ivan, my regular
Good evening,
commentator,
gentlemen. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you, Kenzie.
Yeah. So like I say, a very somber mood for the Formula One community this evening.
Well, you know what, Kenzie, with an accident like that, it was at full pace. F1 and F2 have gone through the point of trying to make the sport as safe as possible, but there is always that unknown that's going to happen, and unfortunately this is what happens in the world of racing.
No, it's not something that
Indeed.
we as fans like, and
Fellow
the
racers,
love
man.
for the sport. Fellow racers and the love for the sport and the fans we are. It's not something we wish for. We always try to encourage the sport to bring us more exciting racing. But in the end of the day, this is not something we want to see. This is not something the motorsport community out there would ever want to see, if there's a rivalry or not. So I can just imagine what Hubert's family is going through and the sport today, and I can only imagine what tomorrow for the Formula One race will also tribute to his memories. Race time.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually did that tomorrow. And I was like, I'm looking at Delvin right now in the Alpha, and there's a couple of cars ahead of him as well. A lot of the drivers this evening are sporting black on their helmets as a sign of respect for Anton Hubert.
Well, a few of them
with
are
the
also
pink.
doing pink as well, yeah. And then one or two might actually run either his race number or his age as their number over the next 2 races or so.
Very, very thoughtful of those drivers. I'm starting to get a bit emotional over this, but can you blame me?
No, not at all.
Not a little bit.
Yeah. But nevertheless, championship standings after the last race in Baku, it was an absolute chaos fest, for lack of a better term. We ended up with both Ferraris not finishing the race, and as a result, Stephen Harrison taking the win, putting him at the top of the championship with 88 points. Gary Braden second with 69 points, and Callum Harrod, who is not racing this weekend on medical grounds, still third with 34 points. But in the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes are now at the top with 122 points. Ferrari
Where we
behind
should be.
Yeah, and we've yes, and as you can tell, we have Callum in the commentary box with us. We have Callum in the commentary box with us just for the start of the session. Mercedes at the top of the championship. Ferrari second with 91 points. Red Bull with 50 points. But a fantastic show of sportsmanship from Anthony Waddington. Due to the technical issues that Callum suffered throughout the tail end of the race, he actually slowed down on the main straight and gave the second place back to Callum, resulting in a Mercedes 1-2.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah, I
brilliant
remember
guy,
that
and
moment,
I don't think
eh?
anyone was really expecting him to do that. So, yeah, top marks for him, and yeah, definitely proud to have somebody like that within our league and our community, and that's what we thrive to get respectful people as well as very good racers.
Yeah, very rare you see a sign of sportsmanship like that, but when it comes along, you've just got to take your hat off to the guy that carries it out.
Yeah, no, it's really brilliant. With all respect, I think from most drivers, definitely giving him the racer of the day in that race.
Absolutely driver of the day, and quite rightly so.
Gentlemen, just watching the times here with Stephen, just did a 119.9. On the softs, being his first lap, and Mr. Wilson just following there. I tried this track earlier this week, and I must say, this is just like Arvin also told me on a separate occasion. This is the most balanced track, and hence why the Formula One teams do their testing here. But you will be surprised how this track can catch you out, even though it's so balanced.
Oh, well, it's all about
Yeah.
the downforce, man.
Yeah, as a few drivers can attest to with what happened at turn 3, especially Romain Grosjean at the start of the race last year, ending up losing control of the car and just big cloud of dust from his tyres spinning and just accidents. Just massive accident after that. Thankfully, they got out unscathed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, started this week before I had my little medical thing. I put in quite a bit of practice around here, and I must say, once you start sort of trimming off that bit of downforce to help on that straight line, you certainly tell the difference.
Yeah, the cornering can become quite a bit of a headache around here if your settings are not right in your car. If your setup doesn't allow, this track can become quite a hectic headache. You don't want to come around here unprepared.
No, not at all.
Indeed, Jamie coming across the line now. Jamie he goes third in the Toro Rosso at 120.6. Fantastic lap from him. Kieran with a 119.8 in the Red Bull. That's a very interesting top 5 right now. You've got Kieran in the Red Bull, Stephen in the Mercedes, Jamie in the Toro Rosso, Jarbelu in the Renault, and Anthony Waddington in the Alfa Romeo. That's a very interesting top 5.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I could see Anthony getting a really good result here, to be honest with you. I mean, granted he's only in a Sauber today, but he's shown last week even in a Renault, he's got pace, so I can definitely expect him to be scoring good points today.
I had a session earlier with the guys, and a few of the drivers here that's actually in the race tonight. The guys aren't slow. But again, like I'm saying, this is realistic performance, and like you rightly say, the top 5. I think we're going to see the same type of mix in the top 10 later in the sessions.
Well, hopefully
And
so.
Baku last weekend was a perfect example of that, and not to mention the fact that after this race this evening, you mentioned, Callum, about Warrington potentially getting a good points finish this weekend. That could pay good dividends when it comes to the transfer window.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the requests from the transfer window, and while I can't really say too much as to who will be going where, I can pretty much guarantee you there will be some changes that are very, very surprising.
And rest assured, folks, we will keep you up to date on those transfer changes, which will mean there won't be a race next week. So it will be 2 weeks' time we have our next race, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Oh, so we're having a bit of a break, are we?
Yeah, it'll be a 2
Are we
week break.
carrying on
there
with
won't-
this vacation story of F1 because my life took me to grey hairs and freckled skin just because of the 3 weeks that we couldn't get F1 action. It was the horriblest time of my life, the longest month ever.
Gary Braddon in the Ferrari, meanwhile, going second fastest with a 1:19.945. So yeah, it's so it won't be Monaco, which will be our next race. Instead, it will be Canada, if I'm right in saying.
Yeah, that's right, mate.
Indeed. And we'll see how many people end up in the Wall of Champions in 2 weeks' time.
So the idea of Monaco, Kenzie, hasn't reached.
Yes, we can actually ask him right now.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes. We actually
Have you
we act-
forgotten
we actually-
about that, Kenzie?
On that note, I'll
Yes.
see you all later.
We
Come
actually,
back here.
we
Come
actually,
back here.
Tell him.
We actually came up. We actually came up with
to
an
this
idea
idea.
regarding Monaco during the Baku race last week. Just having it be just an exhibition race, no holds barred, everything on. Just let the drivers go out there, have a bit of fun, and just have it be all out chaos and carnage.
It's actually really funny you should say that, because I did mention to one of the admins 2 weeks ago about racing at Monaco in classic cars, but turning damage off, rules off, and just letting them go and have some fun. So it's definitely a possibility.
Well, then
Yeah, and
you
it's
need
for
to
the
keep us
viewers,
informed.
because that's gonna be entertaining for the viewers, because that's what we said to Kenzie, me and him in the commentary box on
Yeah.
Baku. You know, it's if you see so much action on a street circuit in Azerbaijan, Baku, what are you gonna
Yep.
see in Monaco?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
do you
going to
think-
be only
do you
one
think-
way to
A
find out.
circus.
Do you think we could get that race organised for next week?
I think there's a distinct possibility. Let me speak to the admins over this weekend, and I will very soon give you an answer.
We await the answer.
But get
I'm
mods,
sure we
put
can sort
rockets on these
something out.
cars and explosives and put bumps in the road.
I think you're mistaken
take
F1
Baku
for a bit of
to a
GTA
new
there.
level.
Well, we can
Yeah.
make it fun,
Yeah,
boys.
let's do a mod.
Mario Kart.
And apply the nitrous button, boys. The go fast baby
Oh,
button.
boy.
Put that in the
Oh,
car.
dear.
And let's see what happens.
Happy day. Right, well look lads, it's been a pleasure speaking with you again. Sorry it's been a bit of a flying visit, but I'm rather tired at the moment, so I'm going to shoot off.
No
But
problem.
I hope you all have a nice time commentating, and I will definitely make sure I'm watching.
Fantastic.
stuff.
Thank
Thank
you very
you,
much,
Callum.
Callum.
Cheers boys, see you later.
Hopefully see.
Good
See ya.
luck with the recovery.
Thank you. Cheers mate, bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Cheers. What a great guy, eh, gents? Coming here
Couldn't
after
agree
having
more.
a
He's-
stroke in the week and still joins in on the action, although he's not in the car. It just shows quality
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say, it's very rare that you come across a driver that's got such a great personality, and Callum's a perfect example of that.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure. And
definitely.
we planted the seed for Monaco. Right now we did that. So we need to water this on the media chat and on... listen, viewers, this is Top Willem speaking. Please go on the social media and raise your voice for that race in Monaco. We want to see it just as much as you. Go on the admins, go on the social media, plant the seed, water it, and let's get that race done. I
Get
can't
it on
wait.
the chats as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I say that would just be an absolute field day, just for that one race. Just
The only highlight
I mean-
will be the intro. That's it. And from there on, it's the rest of it.
But I mean, come on, classic cars around Monaco. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to know what classic car he's got in mind, though. It's got to be something
The
like
Nigel
you got to go back.
Nigel Mansell series.
Yeah, you're looking at what the JPS series Lotus, old school.
Oh, that would be
The
good.
stuff that's got like cast iron brakes, but that's even
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even the legendary, one of the legendary Senna McLarens, which Senna won round Monaco 6 times throughout his career.
Yeah, that thing is quite undrivable in the game. I can only imagine in real life what that felt like, eh?
Yeah. Well, let's Dean Harrison in the sister Red Bull, the only driver yet to set a lap time. His teammate
He's on
Kieran
outlap.
still fastest. His teammate Kieran still fastest. Gary second, Stephen third, Jamie fourth, Michael Booker fifth, Jar Bailu sixth. Anthony Waddington is out on another lap. Callum Britton in the sister Ferrari in eighth. Kyle Keegan ninth, and Caesar rounding up the top 10.
We're not seeing a Williams there yet. Although Willem Brits in the Williams, being a top driver last week in Baku, is on the hards at the moment. So we ought to see something from him in a few moments' time, maybe going on to the softs.
Who knows? Being very conservative with his tyres, saving the faster compounds for later on in the session. But he's in danger at the moment of potentially being eliminated. But meanwhile, Dean has just pipped his teammate for fastest at the moment, 1:19.813, 200ths faster than Kieran, and it looks like he's getting a slipstream from one of the Toro Rossos.
Gentlemen, I'm struggling to understand quickly why Willem Brits is going for another lap on the hard, seeing there's 2.5 minutes left of the session. He's on his way to be eliminated.
That is a very, very strange move there by the Williams driver.
Well,
I'm a bit confused, to be honest.
I was speaking to him earlier this afternoon in the interview, and he said this is a great league, and he appreciates the comments that have been made about him being a legend in the F1 community, and I say this must be a case of something. This must be a case of him knowing something that we don't.
Yes, but running the hard tires on this type of track, I mean, it's just a weird choice. It's a very weird choice, really. Not even the actual F1 teams seem to think the hard is the tire to run on this type of track.
And he doesn't have time left, guys. I'm afraid that this is past his curfew. He's going to be eliminated as it stands.
And he's going to be out of fuel as well.
Well, that's a
Williams
horrible day for him today.
Jorge and Lee also eliminated as well. Only Gareth in the Haas can stop himself from being eliminated. He's got time to do at least another lap if his fuel will allow him to do so.
Yeah, no, he's out of fuel. You can see the fuel light flickering and...
Yeah. So he's going to need to try and pull something out of the bag, but it doesn't look like it can. It's 45 seconds left. Williams out, Jorge. So that's it. There you go. That's your 4 drivers that have been eliminated in this first part of qualifying. Willem was a big surprise after such a strong showing in Azerbaijan last week. Gareth, we just saw, Jorge, and Lee. So that means Gregor now knows he's safe. And he'll be through to the next part of qualifying. And Callum Britton, where on earth that came from, I don't know. 119.4.
That's
How
a
did he
good
pull
lap.
that one out? How did he pull that one out of the bag?
Well, that isn't a Ferrari, with all said. But that is an exceptional lap time, 119.4. And that's only Q1. What are we going to be seeing in Q2 and 3 coming up?
This could be a huge turn up for the books. And Kyle
It's
Keegan
not the
doesn't quite
usual
improve
top
on his-
3.
And you're right about that one. And John Taylor is into the pits now. So just to recap, it's Callum Britton in the Ferrari, fastest. Willem is one of the drivers to be eliminated alongside Gareth, Jorge, and Lee.
I'm still a bit confused about Willem Brits' strategy there, going out in the hards in Q1, doing 9 laps on those hards. I suspect he went out and never pitted until the end. I thought at the moment that he would be going into the pits last moment softs and do a flyer like we know him. But I'm still not sure what's happening there. But still on hard in a Williams at 121. We have to give that also in the praise. That's a good lap.
Absolutely. It's a great lap on those. It is a great lap on those hard tyres.
Very, very interesting
That-
movement.
So like I'm saying, it's case him. If he manages to pull something out, if he manages to pull something special out of the bag in the race, he obviously knows something we don't.
He's got something up his sleeve. I'm sure of that. I can't see him continuing in that position. And again, I'm saying if I'm looking at his lap times, a 121.8 in a Williams on a hard tire. Now that's about 3.5 seconds slower than the soft. So you could put him on a 118 high, 118 low, 119s. So I suspect he's going to come with race pace. That's what I think he's going to be doing.
Indeed. We're now into the second part of qualifying, and this is where strategy will be key as to what tyre the drivers will be starting on. Very interesting to see what happens.
Let's see who will be one of the first to be going out. It looks like Michael Booker is getting ready there in the pits, taking off the blanket. We've got a Ferrari out.
Yep. And we've got
there's
both
Michael
Mercedes. We've got both Mercedes coming out as well. It's Luke in the Mercedes, the first driver out onto the track.
Have you guys seen the updated livery of the McLaren? With the higher black strip on the sides of the car. Have you guys noticed?
Yeah, it's got the higher black
Oh, in
strip.
qual-
It's got the barge boards have been changed. Sponsor has been changed. The black wing on the sides as well. It's a black wing now. It's no longer blue. I've taken a look and really gone through and spied out my favorite car, man.
And what do you think, Ivan? I think it looks great.
I think it looks beautiful.
I like the blue. So I would have loved to see more of that.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I think they're going with a certain type of color scheme, and the blue is just has always been just a touch coat within the past. So I don't think they want to have it their predominant color.
Yes, but it looks awesome, right?
So me and Willem on commentary last week, we were talking about which car on the current grid had the best livery, and we were both in agreement with regards to the McLaren, and it's easy to see why.
Yeah, well, it's just a brilliant livery. I really do love the livery. So
It's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple and beautiful.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely a different look at it. I mean, if you have to look at the big changes within the liveries over the 2 seasons from 2018 to this one, it's probably the best improved one, just by adding an extra bit of color.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the guys, like we know that the big guns like Merc and Ferrari and Red Bull, they've had their livery predominantly looking the same every year, except Ferrari went this year with the matte red, not gloss, for all their reasons. But there's no big change, and we all said when the 2019 liveries got announced, we all want to see something different now. We used to the silver arrows, we know that the silver arrows. Let's change it up a bit. And we know Ferrari is red, but let's change it up a bit. But I think the team that come out with the most creativity is, again, the McLaren.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful car, man. I can't wait to see one, man. I really can't.
Yeah.
But they're on their way to becoming one of the top contenders this season, eh?
I wouldn't say top contenders, but definitely best of the rest. What are your feelings about that, Kenzie?
I was saying in the group chat earlier today with regards to the Mercedes engines. We saw a couple of engine failures in qualifying today. If that ends up being a problem for the Mercedes works team tomorrow, this race could be the Belgian Grand Prix tomorrow could be a game changer in the championship.
Well, yes. I mean, if you have to look at today's practice sessions and quali, I mean, that's two Mercedes motors going or giving engine problems over the course of the weekend. It's got to be definitely something that the works team's got to be looking at.
Yeah, just on that point quickly, you don't know how the junior teams or the teams that's using the supply of the Mercedes engine, how they've been using the engine. We don't know, have they been running higher modes for longer, or the prescribed, things that Mercedes would have told them when they supplied the engine. We don't know that. But I also think that Mercedes themselves will have a slightly better engine than what they would supply another team. Don't you think?
I don't know.
Or is there like a rule to it?
I'd be very surprised if that were the case.
I don't think they would supply the same engine. Like literally the same power unit with the same amount of HP coming out of it. I don't think so. Look at the Ferrari motor that's in and in the Alfa Romeo as well. I don't think Ferrari would put their engine into those cars. Yes, it's a Ferrari motor, but I don't think it will have the same performance.
No, I don't know. I think they've actually got to supply a proper standard unit, and then how the team set up the motor is up to them. But I think that the actual motor itself is pretty much the same. I mean, you must look at it. Take Alfa being a sister Ferrari team. I mean, you must understand Alfa owns Ferrari, so it is a sister team, the team. So they're going to do a lot of testing through them before they put the actual motor inside the actual.
That's where it comes in. Yeah, you see, that's where it comes in. So I don't think like Kenzie now said, the works team would be too worried about them having engine problems.
Yeah.
Because a couple of the drivers from teams like Red Bull, for example, they came into this weekend with a new spec engine this weekend.
Yes, exactly.
But as a strategy for, like, example, Renault, they did it because they want to take the penalty now, not later. But they're not going to use the new motor now because it's not going to be complementary to the strategy now, as it would be later on. So they doing it purely out of when and when not to take a penalty.
Yeah, but I
Very
do.
interesting call.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Sorry, Kenzie.
That's okay. Yeah. It's meanwhile, Devin coming across the line to start his flying lap. Stephen is currently fastest. That was a blistering lap time, a 1:19.1. Dean is second with a 1:19.5. Gary third with a 1:20.0. Stephen's almost a second quicker than his nearest championship rival.
That is an amazing time. I mean, that's just got that car so set up, right around the corners, getting the right amount of pace down the straights. I mean, that's a lap. And I mean, that's in quality too. The actual track hasn't rubbed it in properly.
I think for some drivers it's also track dependent when it comes to the individual performance. You do get drivers that tend to favourite some tracks above others and tend to do well on those in comparison with the ones they are not so favoured about. So I think that also plays a bit of a role, especially on Spain. I think that does come into play.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
But going back to the lap times for a moment, like I said, Dean, a 1:19.5 on the mediums. That is a great time on those mediums. The question is, what sort of time does Dean have under his belt to beat his brother heading into Q3?
Well, only one way to find out. That's just to keep your eye on the time screen or on the time sheet.
The drivers that are in danger of being eliminated are Kyle and Luke in the McLarens, Devin in the Alfa Romeo, Gregor in the Racing Point, and Callum Britton in the Ferrari.
But as you can see, that Ferrari hasn't gone out of track. I mean, he's done no laps. I wonder if he's just holding you back and going for that last bit of the pace within this qualifying session.
Yeah, he did do a time, the 1:22.1. So he did do a time, but on the mediums he didn't do a lap though. And as we said, that Waddington just started his fast lap. He's in 9th currently with a 1:20.7, and looks like he will be going with the, well, fitted
at the moment is, according to this,
soft
tire.
Yeah.
There's not much in it between Waddington in 9th and Kyle, who's 11th. There's only about 4/10 in it.
It's amazingly close.
But it's a big gap from first to second, and from second onwards it's quite close. I'm sure Anthony betted his lap.
Indeed he does. He goes all the way up to 4th with a 1:20.071. That's a great lap from him. He's definitely riding that wave of momentum after his great performance in Baku 7 days ago. 3rd place in the Tour of the Devil League, and ended up going on to win the Extreme 1 Racing League race the following day.
He's been on a mission.
Just to take that quickly into consideration, a 1:20.071 against a Mercedes leading currently in a 1:19.1. That's less than 9/10, and it's a Mercedes against the Alfa Romeo, and they're both on the soft tires. That's an exceptional lap, Anthony.
Which again goes back to the point of the drivers having that sweet spot as far as the setup is concerned to be able to get the best lap time possible.
Definitely.
Well, this is just
But that's in
strategies at the
contrast.
moment, guys.
Yeah. This is just about tire strategies. But in contrast to what you just said, Kenzie, we know this is supposed to be the most balanced track. Hence why the teams do their testing here. So it should be done on a balanced setup. But still, you have that sweet spot on the setup to be able to get the most out of the car.
There's only 2 minutes left to go. Callum Britton is coming out for another lap. It doesn't look like Devon is going to come out for another lap. Jarve Lou's out for a lap. We've got Kyle Keegan out on a lap as well. Gregor coming across the line. He improves, but he's not fast enough. And he's not going to have time to come out to do another lap. So that means he'll be out of qualifying. And oh, hang on a second. Oh, I think Gregor lost part of his front wing. Letting some of the faster cars through. And I think he lost part of his front wing. He has on the right hand side of his front wing. He's lost part of that.
Well, that's going to compromise him, and he is sitting now in 14th.
Yeah.
That means he's going to be out of qualifying.
Oh, such a hard one for him at the moment.
And his teammate being on the racing line just to put a cherry on top.
Yeah, but Caesar should be okay. John Taylor in the Haas isn't going out for another lap. It's just a question of who's going to be able to make those improvements.
Yeah, Gregor letting Caesar go through. He knows he doesn't have what it takes to do that lap.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be able to have much in his pocket with a broken wing.
No.
Like
unless
Willem,
he
he's going to
pulls
have a
into it,
mountain to climb tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm saying like Willem, like I said, he's going to have a mountain to climb tomorrow. 14th on the grid. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But Callum Britton in the Ferrari, meanwhile, he's already a couple of seconds quicker than his previous lap. And Kyle Keegan, he's out of the session. He's not going to advance. Yellow flag's in sector 1. He must have had a crash somewhere.
I'm trying to find it, yeah. No luck.
And Callum Britton, second, 1:19.458.
What? Wow.
Where did he pull that lap time from? So I'm with Luke right now, and because of Callum's improvement, John Taylor is out of qualifying. Is Caesar going to follow suit? Luke's lost a bit of time heading into the final sector. Is he going to abort the lap, or is he going to try and finish it? Caesar improves. He's safe. Now Michael Booker's in danger. Luke only needs 3/10. This is going to be touch and go. Is he going to get it? No, he isn't. So that's Luke out. John Taylor's out. Luke's out. Kyle Keegan is out. Gregor is out. So Devon did actually manage to improve on his lap, pushing Gregor down to 15th. So your top 10 for the shootout: Stephen, Callum Britton, Dean, Gary, Jabelu, Waddington, Kieran, Jamie, Caesar, and Michael Booker.
Wow. That is an impressive time to get that Alpha in 6th place there by Anthony.
Here we go, top 10 shootout now. This is where we see who goes on pole position. And we've got both Ferraris going out.
We just got a message out on the multi-chats asking the viewers what the predictions are for pole. We've already got one fan, Talfi, actually saying Gary for pole. So we've got some fans looking out there.
Indeed. Got 8 of 10 drivers out on track at the moment. The only drivers not out on track are Waddington and Stephen Harrison. Be interesting to see what times they can pull out of the bag. Interestingly, Callum Britton in the Ferrari on the mediums.
Why would he go on the mediums? It's a top 10 shootout, unless he thinks he can prove a point and screw everybody a bit of fighting.
Well, if that's his plan, I'll be very interested to see what time he pulls out, and maybe it's a strategy call on his end that he's going to be saving a set of the soft tyres for the race.
That could be a plan. I mean, we all know that the guys are after that bonus point for fastest lap.
So I'm with Dean right now. Caesar with a 120.6 in the racing point. That's the first lap of this final part of qualifying. So I'm still with Dean right now. Jamie in the Toro Rosso. What? Jamie in the Toro Rosso, 119.965. Where did he pull that one from? And Callum, interestingly, and as I say that, Gary.
Oh my word.
Gary in the Ferrari, 118.9. That's going to take something very special to beat.
Wow, we had the motor on full pelt. Must say that is a brilliant lap there by Gary Braden.
A point to prove after what happened in Baku 7 days ago.
Definitely.
With Jamie, meanwhile, in the sister Toro Rosso, his lap's looking okay. Not going to be anything spectacular. Callum in the Ferrari, a 133. That's very strong lap. Jamie also had, that looks like a pretty strong lap, a 124.1. But it looked like they were just getting their tyres up to speed, giving them an extra lap just to get more grip into them.
Well, it is possible. I mean, doing a couple of laps over the week, you could definitely feel the softs seem to appreciate that second lap of that warming up stages. So this could be a nice flyer from the Red Bull of Kieran, sorry.
Well, it definitely looks like Kieran is going a lot quicker. He's much quicker, 3.5 seconds. Is he going to be able to challenge for that pole position? No, I'm not sure if he's going to be fast enough to do so, but you never know. Coming around the final couple of corners now, he's got a car behind him. He'll be looking to potentially take advantage of the slipstream. It's one of the Mercedes. Kieran, a 1:19.7. It
puts him into third.
It's a great lap from him at the moment. Wallington also on flying lap as well now.
So who's the car behind the Red Bull? That's going to be a nice turn for him.
It was Stephen in the Mercedes.
As I see, Willem is spectating on Jabelu or JBL. Comes through.
Yeah, currently sixth with a 1:20.3.
I think that's just at the start of his flying lap, yeah.
Yeah, but he's had 3 laps on those tyres. What he's got planned, I'm not sure, but it's a great qualifying performance from him, and he definitely shows he's got the race pace, especially after what happened in Australia in the Extreme 1 League at the start of the season a few weeks ago.
Yes, definitely. He's definitely improved on his times. I think he's just gotten down and cooled down over the last couple of races.
Wallington just went 4th there, a 1:19.8. So the top 10 at the moment is Gary Braden on provisional pole, Dean 2nd, Kieran 3rd, Wallington 4th, Booker 5th, Jamie 6th, Jarbelu 7th, Caesar 8th, Callum Britton 9th, and Stephen yet to set a lap time, rounding up the top 10.
We are going into the final 4 minutes. Should be really interesting. The drivers should be thinking about coming out to do their final laps.
Indeed. Stephen yet to set a lap time. But, he'll definitely be coming out to get a lap in, without a doubt.
We do have Willem, who has to quickly attend to a pressing matter. He shall be joining us soon or shortly.
Hopefully it's not too severe.
Nah, shouldn't be too bad. We're heading towards the final 2 minutes.
And we've got Gary, Dean and Kieran all out on laps at the moment. Callum Britton on his out lap. Michael Booker, interestingly, in the pits. Doesn't look like it's going to be touch and go if he can get out for another lap, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Is Stephen going to come out for a lap? Indeed he does.
He's pushing it right to the limit there, quickly.
Definitely cutting it fine.
It's quite a tricky move. I mean, it's basically putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping that you can get that solid lap, that one and only lap.
Indeed. We'll wait and see what happens. It's Gary, Dean and Kieran all on flying laps right now. Jamie's on a flying lap. Caesar is on a flying lap. Here we go. Here comes Stephen now. Where is Gary on the track? He's slightly slower. He's just fractionally slower than his fastest time. He's still fractionally slower. He might still be able to improve still. Wait to see what happens.
Coming around the final few bends into the chicane.
Oh, and Michael Booker's out of the session. Michael Booker's out of the session.
Gary comes around the final corner. Now it's just a flat race down. DRS is open. He comes through and pulls out a...
He doesn't improve on his time. Doesn't improve on his time. Waddington isn't going to improve on his time. He stays fourth for the moment.
What is Stephen's lap looking like?
Looking okay at the moment. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. Callum Britton a 1:19.2. He goes third at the moment. Stephen looking very good out of the final sector. Coming around the final corner. What's Stephen going to pull out of the bag? 1:18.516. Provisional pole for Stephen at the moment.
Wow. That is a blinding lap there by Stephen.
And Kieran improved on 1:18.7. He goes second. But Gary is not. Gary's 3.5 seconds down. He's not going to improve on his time. So Stephen Harrison gets his first pole position of the season.
What a fun, wonderful lap there by Stephen. Really taking and rigging the horse for that Mercedes-Benz there.
But massive credit to Kieran in the Red Bull. He is going to start second, which leaves Michael Booker to start third. Start eighth. My mistake. Fantastic end to qualifying. Let's recap the top 10. It is Stephen Harrison on pole, Kieran second, Gary third, Dean fourth, Callum Britton fifth, Waddington sixth, Jamie seventh, Michael Booker eighth, Jarbelu ninth, and Caesar rounding up the top 10.
And we'll also notice that everybody is going to be starting well. It's going to be a mixed grid with the two different tyre shortages going on. But I must say, the Red Bull is definitely split into the two Ferraris there. It's quite an interesting mix there by the top three teams.
So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 5 of season 2 of the TOTD Racing League. We are in Barcelona, the Catalunya circuit. It's a great city, Barcelona. There's a cathedral Antoni Gaudí designed 137 years ago, the Sagrada Familia, estimated for completion in 2026. It's also home to Barcelona FC, one of the most successful football clubs in the sport's history, unless you watched the semi-finals of the Champions League last season. We've got a run of 565 metres round to the first corners, one of the longest runs down to turn 1 on the calendar. 2.8 mile circuit this, it's 16 corners, 7 to the left and 9 to the right. We've got 2 DRS zones, 1 down to Main Street and 1 heading up to turns 10 and 11. Some of the action zones to look out for: turn 1, if you're late enough on the brakes, as Nigel Mansell can attest to, against Ayrton Senna in 1991, we could watch that all day. You've definitely got a good chance of a strong result. Turn 3, it's something that Grosjean is not going to be the most proud of with that race start last year. And in 2017, turns 10 and 11, the battle between Bottas and Vettel for that action zone that weekend. The 3 tyre compounds we have are the soft, medium and hard. It's the 3 hardest compounds we have: the C3, the C2 and the C1. And we've got and onto the grid now. It's Stephen with his first pole position of the season. Kieran, fantastic performance from him in second. Gary Braddon in the Ferrari, great performance from him after what happened in Baku 7 days ago. He starts third. Dean, Stephen's brother, starts 4th in the sister Red Bull. Callum Britton in the sister Ferrari in 5th. And you've got Anthony Waddington, another great performance from him, in 6th. Jamie and Michael Booker in the Toro Rosso and Mercedes respectively in 7th and 8th. Jarbelu 9th and Caesar rounding up the top 10. Then you've got John Taylor in the Haas, followed by Luke and Kyle Keegan in the 2 McLarens, Devon in the sister Alpha, Gregor in the Racing Point. Then you've got Willem, one of his worst qualifying performances of his career so far, but hopefully he can pull something out of the bag. Gareth in 17th, and then you've got Jorge and Lee rounding up the grid. And before we get into the race, we're going to have a moment of silence to pay tribute to Anton Hubert, who lost his life after a horrific crash in the Formula 2 feature race at Belgium earlier this afternoon. Anton Hubert losing his life early at the age of just 22.
Yeah, very sad for the motorsport industry. I think across the world, he will definitely be remembered And I think tomorrow we will also see in the main F1 race something of a contribution and a tribute to him and his family in the memories.
I'm sure there will
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, but hopefully the race we can hopefully deliver this evening will be the first step in the healing process. Just a couple of minutes to go before we start the race.
I've missed quite a big part of qualifying. Yeah, practically the whole Q3. What is the standings, and is there anything that has been exciting?
Well, the exciting thing is that we've got Stephen Harrison on pole position for the race. We've got Kieran alongside him on the front row. Two fantastic laps from them.
All right.
Yeah.
So this ought to
we've got
be a
Gary
good one
sitting
from
in
the
third.
start.
And,
Yeah, well, we've got a Mercedes, a Red Bull, Ferrari, rounding up the top 5 places.
yeah, well,
That's awesome.
as I say, just looking at the top 10, it's only going to be Kieran, Gary, and Dean that will be starting on the mediums. The rest of the top 10 will be starting on the softs. As far as strategy is concerned, we're looking at between 16 and 31 laps for the soft tyres, 18 to 35 laps for the mediums, and based on based on this year's race, between 17 and 35 laps for the hard tyres. The drivers getting ready to start what will hopefully be another classic race. Jamie is the first to ready up, and everyone else is going to be following suit. Time-wise for pit stops, you're looking at roughly 21 seconds for a pit stop. To be able to make the pit stop and maintain position on the track. Last couple of drivers readying up.
And here we go.
Here we go, this is it. 5 lights, and when they go out, it will be race time in Barcelona! A great start there from the Ferraris. Stephen off to a good start as well. Waddington's had a good start as well. Oh, we've already had a crash! There's one of the Ferraris and Red Bulls! Oh my, what, it's all falling apart already! Gary, Braden, and then Dean! They've had a horrible start, but Stephen managed to keep his nose clean. Waddington up into second as we head to turn 3, and that's one of the Toyotas off! I don't think that's one of the Red Bulls as well. It's Luke!
Oh.
Luke and the McLaren's out of the race!
McLaren as well.
Luke and the McLaren is out of the race already! Gregor with collision with Jarbe Lou!
Oh, and there's the winner at the point racing as well.
Oh my goodness me, it's all drama already! And Willem not being able to make any progress at the moment, but we'll wait and see what happens. We've got the Caesar and the Racing Point, he's up into front from him. Unbelievable! Devon managing to get past Gary up into 10th place. Gary's getting past Lee. Yes. Unbelievable! We did not see that one coming. But as we come round to, I wouldn't be surprised if we have front wing changes to start. But nevertheless, at the end of lap 1, Stephen leads, Waddington second, Kieran third, Caesar fourth, Callum fifth, Booker sixth, Taylor seventh, Keegan eighth, Jorge ninth, and Devon rounding up the top 10. Gary, unsurprisingly, in the pits, Jarbelu in the pits, Dean in the pits, all getting their front wings changed. Jamie in the pits and Gregor in the pits as well.
Oh, it seems like the Red Bull had just lost the rear end on the start, and that compromised Gary in the first bit of the action on that one. And then the Renault that came together with, well, I think the Renault of Mr. Wilson was the best part of the second incident.
Yeah, Jarve Lou.
Yes, Jarve Lou and the Renault.
And Gregor, as I said earlier, Gregor has a 5-second time penalty for that collision. But
The only retirement we have out of that whole incident is the McLaren.
Of Luke, I'm very surprised that's the only retirement we've got. But absolutely incredible to see all that happening. But John Taylor in the Haas, he's had a great start. He started 11th. He's up into 6th. And then you've got Caesar, who started at the bottom half of the top 10. He's up into 4th. On to lap 3 now. DRS will be enabled on this lap. And I mentioned before the race started, you've got the 2 DRS zones. You've got one down the main street and one heading up to turns 10 and 11.
Willem Brits made up some ground in 4 places. There is now running in 12th in the Williams, making an overtaking move there by Lee in the Toro Rosso most recently.
Yeah, that progress will be mainly down to those first lap incidents. We've seen our fair share of those over the course of this season.
And not to mention that I've got a suspicion that I think Willem Brits has put himself in quite a nice spot for this race. Seeing he went out in the hard, just doing a few laps there in Q1 and being knocked out because of that. But I think that was part playing into the fact that he will have new tyres for the race start, putting him in a very, very nice spot. Quite frankly.
Very well played from Willem. If that's the case, he's going to try and get into the points. Callum tries to get past Caesar, but thinks better of it. He tried to get a pass on the main straight, but that wasn't happening. Kieran, meanwhile, in the Red Bull, he is battling Waddington for 2nd place.
We've got Michael Booker also battling for 7th with Kyle in the McLaren.
Yeah, so we've got 3 battles on track at the moment. We've got Kieran battling Waddington for 2nd. We've got Callum battling Caesar for 4th, and Booker battling Keegan for 7th. Those are the 3 main battles to watch out for. Wait to see what happens. Stephen in the Mercedes, meanwhile, he's starting to increase that gap slowly but surely. Gap's up to 3 seconds. Kieran, he's got DRS. He's going to have another crack at Waddington.
Willem Brits has been disconnected.
Oh my word, technical issues for Willem. That is not what he would have wanted.
He was 8 tenths behind Garrett before he got disconnected.
And now that gap is just going to increase. Callum tried to get past. Caesar, but that wasn't happening. Waddington doing very well to defend from Kieran. Doing very well to defend from him at the moment. This could be a very tasty battle for potentially that 2nd place, but because they're battling amongst each other, it's allowing Stephen to increase his lead.
Well, that's what he's looking for, is that gap, so that he can start building a comfortable lead. So this battle going on between 2nd and 3rd is playing right into the Mercedes' hands.
Marco was at the moment 5 tenths away from Kyle, and I see that gap is
gap's now-
increasing.
The gap's now gone up to 2 seconds. But he's trying his best to try and bring it down. Sheeran again trying to get past Waddington, but it's not for happening. Taylor, meanwhile, right on the back of Ferrari. Two Ferrari-powered teams. Sheeran managing to keep a close enough gap to Waddington to be able to keep the pressure on, to keep the up.
So there's a good battle between 5th and 6th happening right now as well.
Yeah, that's Callum Britton in the Ferrari and John Taylor in the Haas. We've got Devon battling Horgate for 9th. Horgate's made up a lot of ground.
Oh! Dean almost took it again. 15th and 14th. They almost made contact.
Oh my goodness me! Sheeran not going to be close enough to make any sort of impact on Waddington at the moment, but John Taylor in the Haas, he's thinking about it, he's going to go for it, but Callum shuts the door on him! Callum having none of it! Now we've got Devon bearing down on Horgate.
Gary just overtook Lee for the place of 13th and lost place as well to Dean. And Dean's got DRS on Gary and he's going to make the move on the main straight. He made it stick and they made contact.
Oh my goodness me!
He just managed to, and he's got the inside. He has it. He has it.
Unbelievable!
Ducks with one shot. Well done, Dean.
Two birds, killing two birds with one stone. Unbelievable there. Devon still trying to get past Horgate. What's not happening yet?
Willem Brits has just rejoined in 13th.
Yeah, because Dean just managed to get past him. Kyle managing to get past John Taylor. John Taylor's lost the place. And Gary's got past Willem as well.
Yes, but I see Willem Brits' car is still ghost, so I'm suspecting he's trying to take control of the car at the moment.
Oh, Kieran's trying to go for a move on the outside of Waddington. Not having any of it. Waddington is doing so well to defend from Kieran, but the problem with that is that Kieran is going to be able to go longer on his mediums than Waddington will on the softs.
Jabailu on the point of making a move on Lee for 15th.
That won't really matter too much, but if he can play his cards right, and what? Kieran spun it! Kieran spun it! He's lost a couple of places! Oh my goodness me! Not what Kieran would have wanted! And that was shaping up to be a great battle as well.
Well, as you can see, he came into the corner quite tight, clipping the curb, and that's what set the back end of the car right out.
And that's all it can take. That's all it takes. Just that one curve clipping, and there you go. Just that one wrong move.
But he made up another position.
Yeah, he managed to get past Kyle. it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here. We're heading into we're on lap 9 already. Stephen's got a 7-second gap over Waddington, who's got a 5-second gap over Caesar. Caesar's keeping that gap very consistent. Only a matter of time before we see that gap start to tumble.
Marco Bucca overcooking it there on the entry, losing a lot of time on John Taylor. Gap has now increased to 1 second. It was half a second at the moment. There's a few guys that's not gonna leave this race unbattled.
Definitely not. You're going to have Caesar battling and just making sure that he keeps Kieran at bay.
Well, Callum has caught up with quite some margin. That gap going to be under 1 second as it is now, 8 tenths behind Callum. Should have the DRS. 3 tenths. It's now 3 tenths, 4 tenths.
Yeah, Michael closing in.
He's definitely got that battery running.
Yeah, Michael closing. You got Michael Booker closing in on John Taylor. Meanwhile, Kieran also right on the back of Callum Britton. See what happens there. He's got DRS. He's close enough. He could go for the opportunity. Thinks better of it.
Looks like Callum is beginning to struggle for grip on those softs. But as is Red Bull struggling for grip on those mediums as well.
Very interesting to see that development. Meanwhile, but here we go. Kieran's got DRS. He's right on the tail of Callum. Surely he's going to make the move stick. He's right alongside. Callum didn't have a chance. And there you go. Kieran back up to 4th.
What a recovery drive. What, in a matter of 3 laps? From 6 all the way up to 4th again.
Absolutely, that is a great recovery, as you say.
It seems that Michael Booker just can't get past the horse of John Taylor. The gap is there. 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, and then it just doesn't happen for Michael.
Yeah, he's getting close enough. He's staying within DRS range.
Just doesn't seem to get past him. I think that might also be a factor to play. Is John Taylor managing his ERS and engine modes to stay ahead of that Mercedes?
Who knows?
Well, either way, he's doing a wonderful job making that hash as wide as possible.
Definitely. I do see Michael Booker has saved a lot of ERS, and I suspect it's going to be using a lot of it now in the DRS zone.
Yeah, Callum Britton,
And
meanwhile...
he doesn't.
Callum Britton, meanwhile, he is in the pit. That's very early, lap 11. Very early for that.
Yeah, he was struggling on those softs. You could see the battle between him and the Red Bull. You know, it didn't go very well for him on the exit. Michael Booker not using the ERS available to him to overtake John Taylor.
Interesting strategy call. Remember, he goes a little wide, but he is close enough to try and make a move, but he doesn't go for it.
and he's sticking to mode 1 on the ERS. On the telemetry, he's sticking to mode 1.
That is very interesting. Why would he do that? Wallington in the pits on lap 12. I'm saying that's very early for the pit stops.
Well, if you want to see an undercut, well, there's your undercut. You don't get a bigger undercut than that, though. If it even can be called an undercut, mind you.
Yeah, he's going on to the mediums. Wallington's in the pits as well.
That's very interesting. Well, Season now closed the gap to only 7/10 to the Red Bull.
We're on to lap 13 now, and Caesar's
Caesar
gone
went
wide. Caesar went wide. He was bearing down on Kieran. That's a real shame because it looks like he was going to go for. He looked like he was going to go for second place.
It was in reach. And he's putting.
Yes, Caesar.
The soft's not lasting in the first.
Like I said, I'm very surprised that he's very surprised about these. Very surprised that these tyres are not lasting to the 16 lap window that we were predicting. John Taylor in the pits as well.
I was looking at some of the telemetry there, Kenzie, and some of these guys were running very high engine modes together with quite high energy recovery system deployment modes as well. So I think that chows the tires, you know, it eats them up. And especially the battling going on. If you're behind the car, your tire degradation seems to be, or tend to be higher than normal.
Happens. We're on to lap 14 now. Stephen's still leading. Kieran's in second. Kyle Keegan up into third. Waddington is fourth. Got yellow flags in sector 3. I think that was for. I think that might have been for Lee. Might have been for somebody else. I don't know.
But Stephen in the Mercedes has built himself a very, very comfortable lead. 16 seconds it is now.
He only needs another 5 seconds to be able to make his pit stop and come out in the lead.
Essentially having a free pit stop by the words of it.
Essentially, yes. Kyle Keegan in the pits. That means Callum's up into fourth. Caesar, meanwhile, he gets past Devon with ease.
Yeah, the DRS is powerful this season. Wings opening even wider now than it has in 2018.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens with the regulation, the big regulation changes in 2021. Jorge and Gareth in the pits, meanwhile. And
Gary Braden seems to be on the tail of John Taylor at the moment. Only 5/10 between them.
Stephen's in the pits. Stephen is in the pits. Got a 16-second gap. Here comes Kieran.
Kieran will take him in the pits, that's for sure.
There you go.
And he does so.
Stephen should be able to get... If Stephen can overtake Kieran on the racetrack, it will mean that he'll essentially have a free pit stop over Kieran heading into the second round of stops.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're quite right there. It seems like Gary is a bit struggling behind John Taylor, and he's going for the move, and he's done it. Will he make it stick?
He does. Gary up into
Oh,
ninth.
and they touch! They're out! They're out! They're out! They touch! John Taylor touching the wheel of Gary Braden there, having a spin around. Gary just holding it together in that corner.
What about that?
Whew. Dean about to make his move on Kyle in the McLaren. Kyle defending well, they're closing the door on the inside line.
Dean on the back of Kyle for 7th place.
Having a look. Not the right place to do an overtake. Disciplined he is.
Putting himself in check. That's one of the Toro Rossos.
Lee.
He's getting lapped already. Dean getting part,
That was
almost
close.
making contact, but he manages to take the position.
That was with close. And Winter just overtook the Alfa Romeo for 11th place.
Jimmy battling Willem meanwhile.
Oh, here it comes, and he makes
Oh,
contact.
Jamie spun it!
He spun it!
Into the wall, he's damaged his front wing.
Wow! I was waiting for that to happen. Not that I wished it, but I saw that happening with Willem closing the door on that corner. Willem not having any of that overtaking. And that cost him a lot of, well, what's that, 3-4 places.
He was battling Willem for 11th, so yeah, it would have been 3 or 4 places. Sort of thing he really could have done without, but he's going to need to come in to get that front wing changed. But no, he stays out.
Bold move. We now have the Alpha trying to regain time on Willem Brits. And he's closing the gap ever so slightly. It's now 4 tenths.
Oh, it looks like, and Callum went wide. Callum went wide out of turn 9. And oh, he's gone wide again. He's gone wide again. What has happened to him? What has
He
happened
doesn't
to him?
have a lot of front wing left. Both barge boards are gone. He's got a lot of front wing damage on Callum's car.
Oh my goodness me. He's definitely going to need to come into the pits. There he goes.
And he does so.
No way would he have been able to survive that.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. I had a phone call. What has been going on?
A lot. We had 2 spins, Lee spinning out on the overtake attempt. And we also had Callum having front wing damage. We're not certain why, but he's gone into the pits. Willem Brits is now up to 10th place, scoring 6 positions since the race starts. And there's quite a nice battle that's occurring between second and first. Stephen and I'm not sure who's Keegan, eh? Is the name?
Kieran, yeah.
Kieran, right, that's right.
But I do see that Stephen is on fresher tyres.
Yes, that's right. You're correct. He had a 16.6 second gap when he went into the pits. So Kieran will need to pit, and if, like Clint said rightfully, if Stephen can overtake Kieran, he will essentially have a free pit stop on his second stop. By the looks of his pace, of course.
Gary Braden is now up to 8th place. Just going for a long stint, meaning a few hard tyres.
It seems the Alpha and the Williams is evenly paced around this circuit, not able to get past Willem Brits for 10th place. The gap just remaining half a second or such since a few laps ago, both being on the mediums.
We're almost a third of the way through the race now. Stephen not quite close enough to be able to make a dent in Kieran's lead at the moment, but anything can still happen. Kieran's done well, 20 laps on those medium tyres, he's definitely doing well. In sector 2. Looking for somebody going wide.
Callum has retired, man.
Wow, what happened there? What happened there?
Well, it looks as if he was on lap 1 of those hard tyres, maybe coming out too hot out of the pits and going out in cold tyres.
Very interesting to see what happened there. And it was actually on the run down to turns 10 and 11.
Now it looks like Willem Brits has been disconnected again.
I can only imagine Callum not being happy at all with his DNF.
And I wouldn't blame him.
I'm sure not.
It does mean it's going to be another dent in the championship hopes for Ferrari.
And Dina's just disconnected as well, losing a place there to Michael Booker.
Michael now up into 5th as a result of that.
Yeah.
So the Mercedes team is definitely working on getting some of those points back. Like you mentioned, Kenzie, it's going to be a hard knock for Ferrari in their championship chase.
What it will mean is that with the way things stand at the moment, it means that Mercedes are going to extend their lead, if anything.
Yeah, and I mean the Ferraris didn't have a great weekend last weekend as well. I mean both of them out of the race, so no points there. Mercedes finishing a 1-2. Now they won 1st and 5th. So the only Ferrari now on the track is Gary Braden, and he's sitting in 7th place. So it's the only hope. It's Gary Braden. No pressure, Gary, but you're the only hope today. Let's see if we can get him some points there. He just went past Dean, that's been disconnected. He's now up to 6th place.
We were saying while that was happening, Stephen managed to get past Kieran, which means Stephen is going to keep. Which means Stephen is in the lead. Kieran's going to need to come in to make a stop soon. His tyres will be possibly reaching the cliff edge.
Well, he's on 23 laps in those mediums, and that's quite on limit, I would say, by now. Yeah, he's got at most 3 laps left on those mediums before he's going to start really struggling and losing a lot of lap time.
But it'll be an interesting tyre strategy or tyre strategy for him. Does he then go on to the second set of medium, or would he go on to the hard and go straight through for the end of the race?
Well, we've seen it last week as well, Ivan, in Baku. You know, when I'm not sure who did it, but it was a one-stopper for the one driver, and well, it pushed the limits on the softs. I'm sure Kenzie can recall. So yeah, Kieran might.
It will be touch and go to see if they can manage that one stop. But everyone has, a lot of the drivers at the moment have made a stop. Willem hasn't made a stop, and neither has Kieran.
Ironic considering he's done 9 laps on the hard tyre. No.
Willem is disconnected for a second time, eh?
Yes.
And rejoined for the second time. Seems like the Greens have returned.
I see
And
Kieran is now in the pits.
Kieran is indeed in the pits.
That was quite a long pit stop by the Red Bull team.
While Gareth has spun and lost a place to Telford. He's now down to 15th.
Kieran now down to 3rd after that stop. He's back out on the mediums. That's an interesting move, meaning he'll be going for a set of soft tyres at the end of the...
Yeah, definitely pushing for the fastest lap in Kenzie.
Of course, we get there's a bonus point for the fastest lap for those that finish inside the top 10, but we've also got a bonus point for the fastest lap outside the top 10. So we've got 2 fastest lap points. One for the fastest lap inside the top 10 and one for the fastest lap outside the top 10.
Definitely keeps the underdog within a good chasing points for the mid pack, if you have to look at it that way.
Absolutely.
So we're getting to some F1 news. Obviously, the summer break, 3 weeks is done. Teams running a few new contracts over the summer period. So Valtteri Bottas is being signed to Mercedes again for for next year's season. That I'm sure gives him a bit of a load off, and he can now concentrate on the next half of the season and bring that challenge back to Hamilton.
Yeah, well, you say that, Ivan, but the moment they opened the discussion if they're going to keep him or not. Lee just retired.
Lee's out of the race, and then it's on the main straight. Dean's lucky to have avoided any damage there. He is
just missing that car.
Very lucky to have missed it. Very lucky to have not sustained any damage from that.
Alright, so did he lose the car? Was it contact?
Well, with the way the car was positioned, it looks like he lost it out of the final corner and spun it into the wall.
Once again, it looks as if he had kept the inside curb, and that then swung the rear end of that Toro Rosso out.
The curbs in 2019 is unforgiving, guys. You can't ride them that you have the same way in 2018. It's just can't do it. So, and that shows again, Masters have really done a great job in getting this as realistic as possible. And Vernon is losing it. As I talk about the curbs, he was riding one. He almost lost the car.
They'll fight in sectors 2 and 3. And Dean in the pits. Dean is in the pits. Now what could it be for? It's just a regular stop.
Tire degradation is... No, that's not a regular stop. Tire degradation is really big. Get these guys out today. And these curves as well. But Ivan, just to get back to your F1 news there quickly about Bottas and Mercedes. When the talks opened, in the beginning of the summer break, I did say that it would be a huge mistake for Mercedes to let Bottas go. He's been their guy throughout Hamilton's reign of success. He's been there to pick up, the second place, the third place. So he has really been the cornerstone to secure any additional points for the team throughout the 2018 season, and having such a good kickoff in 2019, I couldn't see any way means possible for Mercedes to let him go and not re-signing him.
Yeah, well, why would you want to mess with that dynamic? It would make no sense.
Yeah, of course.
From a team aspect. And then Sergio Perez getting signed in with Force India or Racing Point, I do apologize, for the next 3 years as well.
3-year deal, that's very interesting. And we also had the provisional calendar revealed over the course of this
summer
week.
break.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zandvoort is now, I think, third on the
Zandvoort is then replacing the. Are you sure it's Zandvoort, not The Vietnamese race.
Yeah, sorry, Vietnam.
Well-
Vietnam, yes, that's right.
Yeah, the Vietnamese Grand Prix is going to be on April 5th, and then you've got Zandvoort in round 5 on May the 3rd. Baku is going to be moved to June the 7th. The British Grand Prix is going to be on July 19th to avoid clashing with Wimbledon and the Euro 2020 final.
Yes, there was
Alright,
such
I just wanna say-
No,
You know what I
there
wanna
was a
say?
big
Oh,
thing this
listen.
year with the Wimbledon final going and the F1
Yeah.
happening at the same time. And we
And
also had the Cricket World
the
Cup,
Cricket World Cup,
at the same
yes.
day as well.
And we had Jeremy Clarkson making a video on his Drive Tribe channel about about watching rather tennis than Formula One. Have you guys seen that clip?
I've
Yes,
actually
That's why I was
seen it.
laughing.
He pulled,
When you
pulled
guys
no,
mentioned the tennis,
he pulled no punches with regards to that.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing about Jeremy Clarkson. He's got if he's got something on his mind, he will say it and he'll say it straight out. If you like it or not, it's coming out.
now that's why I laugh when you say to make space for the tennis. Then I'm like, okay, Jeremy, did you have something to do with this schedule?
Yeah, it
or-
was kind of one of those weekends. Really, it was channel surfing, channel flipping. All of this was quite interesting in my house.
Yeah.
And just to get back to the last of the contracts that we mentioned for the weekend, because Valtteri Bottas staying at Mercedes, we've got Ocon moving over to partner Daniel Ricciardo at Renault next year.
Yeah,
And
taking
Hulkenberg possibly going to Haas about that.
Yes, talks about him going
Possibly.
to Haas and teammate with Magnussen. Because as we know that poor Grosjean has had an awful last 2 years with the AS team. And I think the team needs to find someone that's going to be more consistent and rake in those points that they need.
And the dynamic for the team also is in dire need at Haas. Just to round it off, this discussion about contracts, what a great move by Red Bull to take Albon and move Gasly.
Yes,
very happy
that's
with
the
that.
biggest topic out there. But if you have to look at it, I mean, Albon taking the Spec 4 Honda motor this weekend, so that's officially put him right at the back of the grid. But during
In
the
his favour, I would say.
yeah, well, if you had to look at it, he wasn't really going for the soft, for the fast-paced single race lap runs in free practice 3. He was doing the long runs, and with his times, he was doing quite interestingly. He was up with the top drivers, looking at fifths between second and fifth. So
Yeah, on the
hopefully
first practice, he
we
was
can
a
see him
tenth away
carve
from
his
that.
way through. Yeah, well, like I'm saying, hopefully we can see him carve his way through the field and definitely become that wingman that Max Verstappen is leading at that team at the moment.
Yeah, but this is now again. If you check Mercedes, it's a Hamilton and Bottas. Bottas fights and he needs to up his game to be closer than Hamilton. But essentially, in the back of his mind, he knows his place. He knows he's going to play second note to Hamilton. And they make contact.
Oh no, Gary's got it!
Gary and Michael Bucher.
Oh my goodness me! I think
And
Michael's
it seems like Gary's got the second hand of that because Michael Bucher is still in fifth.
Michael's very lucky to have not taken any damage from that.
As is
Yep.
Gary, mind you.
How on earth that's possible, I don't know. But I'm just reading into the regulations regarding next season. And a couple of interesting points. One of them being drivers who participate in free practice sessions will be eligible for additional FIA super license points. Any driver who completes a minimum of 100 kilometers during a free practice session will receive an additional super license point on the condition that they do not commit a driving infraction. Drivers may only accrue 10 super license points per year from free practice sessions, which will make it easier for the Formula 2 drivers to potentially get a spot in Formula 1 the following season, and teams will be granted an additional quota of some power unit components to compensate for the increased demands of contesting 22 races.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's,
something that
brilliant.
Christian Horner actually spoke about today on the paddock. He said FIA, because now there's grid penalties for tomorrow's race, like we just mentioned about Alex Albon, you know, as a driver being penalised instead of the constructor being penalised. And that's something that Christian Horner said. You know, they must allow them more engines for a more competitive racing.
Yes,
So it just makes
100%.
sense for them bringing that in.
I mean, yes, those F1 motors are a hell of a lot more reliable, but you know, it's going to be a 20 lap season or 20 race season, or 22 races. So it's going to be quite tough on those motors to have to last that amount of time. So having that extra motor coming into play would really work it out nicely. But if you have to look at that aspect coming up now, I mean, if you have to look at, like I mentioned earlier, Albon having to start at the back of the grid because taking the Spec 4 Honda motor, you know, it's definitely shuffled the grid around, and I think that's going to be really good to see over the next course of the next few races, next couple of months coming into the end of the season.
Yeah, but essentially you don't want to penalise any driver for constructors' strategies. You know, he's the guy just taking the machinery around the track. He's not the one making decisions in regards to strategies and engine swaps and upgrades and downgrades. So I can get Christian Horner's point on that.
And as we were discussing that whole topic, Kieran then overtook Anthony in the Alpha for second place, and has now opened up a decent gap of I think it's 1.8 seconds, 1.6 seconds,
Yeah, round about that, yes.
Yeah, and while he was saying that,
and he's
Jabe Lu just got a little bit of a spin, allowing the Toro Rosso gaining 11 spots.
Kieran's about 18 seconds behind Stephen, and it looks like that gap could start to tumble. We'll wait and see what happens.
Has anybody else noticed that Gary Brennan has done 33 laps on those hards? So he's going to be coming towards the ending part of those tyres. So I don't know, do you think he's going to be pushing it by going for, I don't know, coming into round about lap 45, 50, trying to go
Too much.
I don't.
the mediums?
That's too much.
On the
No,
medium,
that's too much.
on the mediums possibly. On the softs, you'd have to be crazy to go onto the softs at this point in the race.
Yeah, no, I think it's almost too late, Ivan. If you're talking about the 45 lap mark, I think that will be too late. Gary won't have any life in those tyres left, seeing that he is pushing because of his
he just got
condition at the restart.
He just got past Michael Booker as we say that. He's up into 5th now, and it looks like that gap is going to start to increase because Michael is going to be reaching the end of his tyre life on those mediums.
Well, I must give it to Gary Brennan. I mean, he's had to have patience driving that car on those hard tyres and having that collision with Michael Booker in the earlier part of the race.
Very true, but he has done. But like you say, he has done well to get back to the position he's in right now. If he's feeling brave, he might be able to get another couple of positions at this point. But we'll just need to wait and see what happens.
One person we haven't really spoken much about is Caesar in the point racing, having quite a quiet race in 4th place.
He's managed to, well, got to give him a lot of credit where it's due. He's definitely kept himself out of trouble, kept his nose clean, he's kept himself focused, just focusing on the task in hand, and there we go. He's up into 4th.
Yeah, doing a very good, clean, diligent race.
Dean
we see
is
Kyle
still
has
disconnected.
also come down into 7th. Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to join in. He might be one of
Oh, my
those
word.
technical gremlins that I like to call Billies. It's just my little practical joke with my fellow racers. If there's an accident, it's Billy's fault. If there's a disconnection, it's Billy's fault. Poor Billy.
Poor Billy. Poor Billy is getting all of it.
Yeah, I know. A mate of mine really wants to get hold of Billy and just teach him a lesson, eh?
I wonder who that is.
Well, we just know him as Billy.
At this point, it definitely doesn't look like he's going to be scoring any points today. It would be a real shame after a very good qualifying performance.
Yes, I'm sure.
Michael Booker is really struggling today. I don't know if you guys really kept an eye on him, but his lines, he's quite inconsistent. I'm not sure if it's set up or is the guy on the controller or you know what's hampering him, but he really seems off touch in this race.
Well, if one of you could go on the oddball shot, we can take a look at his lap and see if he's getting understeer or oversteer.
Looks
It's a combination.
he's definitely on the controller.
It's a combination of both, especially out of turn 1 and 2, heading round turn 3. He almost lost the back end on the exit of turn 2, heading round turn 3.
I'm keeping an eye on him since the race started basically, and it isn't one lap that's, you know, mirroring the previous one. It's a bit inconsistent, and I'm trying to figure out why. Is it because of what he's using to do the race, in sense of a wheel or controller, or is it setup, or is it the tire degradation? What is hampering Michael Booker? Oh, Gary spun out!
Oh my goodness me! And that means
Gary lost the corner.
So that just brings Perosa further down.
crucially no front wing damage again, I think.
And again, that's what I said. It's on the limit for those hard tires.
No, he's in the pits!
Going into
He
the
does
pits
have
now.
front wing damage! I think it's either front wing damage or he's having to come in because his tyres have just given up altogether.
No wing damage. No wing damage.
It's a tyre
It's
change.
the tires.
It's lap 39. We've got Waddington, who's done 26 laps on his medium tyres. He could possibly go to the end of the race on those.
Well, it's a 28 lap order you're going to put on those mediums, and they might be out of life in the end, but let's see what Gary can pull out here. He is on a faster tyre now than he was previously, so he should be catching up a few guys, but I won't be pushing too hard if I was in these shoes.
Yeah, was I just looking?
Well,
I'm just looking at Michael's previous lap times, and so you've said it. So you've pretty much summed it up perfectly. His lap times are very inconsistent. Lap 31, 24.5. Lap 32, 26.5. Lap 33, 25.4. Then 25.3, 26.9, 25.2, 24.9, 24.6. And he's come into the pits now.
No. It's really inconsistent from him. I'm not sure why. I mean, he is sitting in 5th place. So it's not a question of is he a bad driver or is he in the wrong car.
he can't be in the wrong car. I mean, he is essentially replacing Callum at the moment for that seat while Callum recovers. So I don't know. Is it just lack of communication within the team, or was this just? Well, I mean, it was a bit of a surprise. He was told to jump into the car quite late on. So maybe he just
No
didn't have
practice,
any
maybe?
time to get himself into the right frame of mind.
Well, I see Gary's right on his gearbox now as we speak. So let's see what Gary can do on fresh tires. Well,
That's
he's
been
also
definitely
on fresh tires, Michael
hampering.
Booker.
Yes, that's been definitely hampering the Ferrari of Gary.
And dirty air is not something you want from corners. So let's see what Gary can do.
Waddington and Caesar into the pits meanwhile. They'll maintain position on the track. Waddington will keep third, Caesar will keep fourth. And we've got Gary right on the back of Michael Booker meanwhile. This could be a very interesting battle.
He's going to take him on the main straight.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, Michael Booker has got a lot of ERS left and he looks like he saved it for the main straights. Gary is in overtake mode. I won't be surprised if the engine has also been turned up.
Well, there's
for this
the DRS.
opportunity, and Gary does.
But there's the DRS. Oh,
And they
they
make
almost,
contact again.
they almost touch!
They did!
And Gary takes sixth place.
He makes it six. That was close.
Some good driving there by the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, Michael Booker making a little bit of a late move there on the main straight by the looks of it, on my cam shot. But yeah, well done Gary for keeping it together there. We've got Winterish right on the tail of John Taylor for 10th spot, and this might be a three-way take because the Toro Rosso in 9th is being caught up by John as well.
Lap time wise, it's Kieran in the Red Bull with the fastest lap at the moment, in second with a 1:22.8. Stephen is the closest to him with a 1:23.1. The fastest lap outside the top 10, meanwhile, is indeed Willem, but not by much, 1:24.302. So he'll get the fastest lap point outside the top 10. And Gary, as I say that, 22.4. He now takes the fastest lap of the race.
And just like I said, guys, I hope Gary manages to tie us to the end because it's a long stint for the mediums.
Indeed. Oh, and John almost makes contact with the Toro Rosso.
I think the fatigue is starting to set in, as you can see by the driving styles of the drivers at the moment.
No, that's a good spot, Ivan. It's also something I was trying to look for. No, 100% race is not one of the easiest things to do.
No, and especially with this track, I mean, it's a track where you've got to be on it all the time. You've really technically got call it 6 to 7, maybe 10 seconds of flat out down the main straight, and then you're back on it again.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit monotonous here in the middle part of the race like we're at now. Especially guys that's spread far apart, you know. You can lose your concentration quite easily in that part of the race.
This is where the mental work comes into play.
Taylor right on the back of Jamie, but you've got Willem on the back of them as well. This is going to be a very tasty battle. Kevin's in the pits meanwhile, but is he going to get out ahead of this battle? Or is he going to end up being caught in the middle of it? We're just about to find out. Willem trying to get past John Taylor. And Willem does get past.
He did it.
Jamie it's Jamie. Only Jamie manages to get past Devon. Devon is right in fierce battle.
This is definitely a spice up between the guys. This is definitely a battle for 9th and 10th for those final 3 championship points on the line.
Well, it does seem like John is struggling a bit here to keep his line.
We've got 4 cars within DRS range of each other. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when you head down the main straights.
Yeah, but in the meantime, going through the corners, attacking like you're attacking and defending like you're defending, your tyres does seem to love it, you know. The tyres love this one.
Degrading.
So we'll see who comes out on top. Yeah, no, they like degrading, splitting apart and blistering, like the heat. Willem not being as close to the Alpha as the Alpha was to the Toro Rosso in that instance.
It's going to be interesting to see how the climax of this race plays out. We've got the gap between Kieran and Stephen to the lead. The gap's down to 16 seconds. But Kieran can't make too much progress beyond that. Stevens just crossed the line to start lap 46. 30 laps on those mediums. That's very impressive from him.
So that's 20 laps. If you can push it for another 5, I think you might actually jump onto the softs.
And go for the fastest lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only battle at the moment on the field is 10th, 9th and 8th place. Those 3 cars very close to one another. The rest quite heavily spread out, I would say.
They definitely are. Well spotted there by Willem. Gentlemen, so let's just, I was watching the interviews after the qualifying session today, and they ended up interviewing Ross Braun, one of the directors of Formula One, if I'm not mistaken, and they did ask him the question about with the new 2021 regulations coming in, and the FIA kind of dictating on how the car should be developed to a certain extent. Why that does kind of like take away from the team engineers and what they can actually do. What is your feeling about that?
It sounds like he's keeping his cards close to his chest, not revealing too much beyond what we already know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And then the next question that came up was the fact that would there be any more teams joining in on the F1 season over the time, over the next couple of years? He did mention that they were looking at trying to get the rules all set into place before looking at any new teams coming in, but he didn't dismiss the idea.
All I have to say to this is, they must all keep in mind the main idea of this is to keep the competition as close as possible. So they should do whatever it takes to keep the sport gaining viewers and fans and not losing them.
It's going to be interesting to see what regulation changes we're going to have. But as far as the teams are concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if we had some of the big manufacturers like Porsche in Formula One in 2021.
Oh yes, I'd definitely like to see Porsche coming back in. Audi, if they could come through and bring some of their technology and their knowledge within the racing industry into Formula One, I think that would be a great aspect to add to the sport.
I agree and disagree. It's Porsche is a great name, no doubt about it. But Porsche tends to me, as a motorsport fan, tends to me to be more a touring car, Le Mans, GT type of, manufacturing that competes in the motorsport community. I don't think, and what I'm going to say now might not come out right, but I'm sure everyone will understand what I mean. But I don't think they are Formula One material in the sense of, where do you fit in Porsche to Formula One? How do they fit in?
Yeah, but the same could be said about Peugeot. I mean, we've had Peugeot within the sport before, and they've done pretty well in touring car industries as well. Same could be said about Toyota. Toyota ran their works team a couple of years ago. Yes, okay, they weren't doing as well as what expected, but if there's money to be made, I'm sure a car company or manufacturer would definitely be looking into it.
Oh no, sure, but I think that's where the FIA needs to have a sharp eye, because what I like Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren, Williams. The originals that stays within, and they made contact, guys. John made contact with Willem Brits just now. Both of them come out not having a spin on the track, but John does have wing damage on the right front. Why is it every time I discuss a point with you guys, there's action in track?
Sometimes
it's the commentators curse, eh?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Stephen has just put in the fastest lap of the race so far. 1:21.7. He's the only man to get into 1:21s today. But that could all change, because we've got Kieran, who's no doubt going to make another stop, potentially onto the soft tyres, and potentially we could be in for a classic battle between the two in the final stages of the race.
If he does come into the pits, you did mention it was about 20 seconds for a pit stop. So at the moment, the gap between Kieran and Stephen is 5 seconds. So that'll give him 15 seconds on a soft tyre to make up. It could be a really good battle towards the end of the race.
Yes, I would suggest to come back to the previous thing that you said about Porsche coming back. Like I said, the originals in the sport currently on the grid, Ferrari, Mercedes, Williams, and then you've got the mix about guys coming in, but they're not a works team, like Red Bull, Haas, Force India. They buy, and they very reliant on third-party suppliers for engines and parts and components and whatever, and that is what spices up the sport of F1.
The same could be said about McLaren and Williams. They are not works teams, they're private teams. Yes, they've been in the sport for years and they've got that heritage, but
F1 heritage.
Exactly, they've got that heritage within the industry. I'm just saying, having a few extra work teams could spice up the field. You've got extra cars, And you must understand, I mean, racing was exciting back in the early 80s.
Oh, so not replacing it.
90s.
They're coming on as an
No,
additional.
no, no. They come in as an additional team. So instead of
Sure.
having the
Then I'm for
the
it.
10 teams, you've got 11 or 12 teams. That's an extra 2 to 4 cars on the grid. You know, that gives it
Then
that
I'm
extra
for it. Then I'm for it.
yes. So I'm just
But
saying,
getting rid of
that aspect.
someone to replace it with the works team, I'm not for that. You know, as a fan, I'm not for that because it's like the Force India team being bought over by the Canadian Lawrence Stroll. That I'm fine with. But if they came and said, listen, we're going to replace you with Porsche because it's a works team, then I would have been, listen, you know, that's not how it's supposed to work. So yeah, I'm
Unfortunately,
sure
it's
as an
not,
additional
but
team,
that's the way it is. That's the way it does work in Formula One. Unfortunately, it's all about what connections you have and what money you can put into the sport.
Oh, sure, but I mean for the fans, you know, it's they must also remember for the fans, because if it wasn't for the fans, what's gonna pump money into this?
Well, yes, it's not just the fans. I mean, there's a lot of money made by the fans. This is very true, but a lot of your money comes in through your sponsors. So,
And will a sponsor
Williams
sponsor
at the
you
moment.
if there's no one watching?
Well, you know what? Formula One has gone through its tough stages. I mean, there was many talks about how
Yeah, they
Formula
have.
One would survive, but you know, yes, a lot of merchandise is bought over by fans on race days, or you know, as much coverage as what you can see. Yes, take Ferrari for instance. It's the one company that really makes most of their money from their caps and their shirts and their novelty items. You know, I mean, not many companies out there that I know of. I mean, can literally produce a car and say, right, you can buy the car, but you can't take it home. We keep it. You can only drive it when we decide you can drive it, and
Yeah,
you can only take it on a track.
That point was brought up on an episode of Top Gear a few years ago, and it was basically
Yeah.
word for word what you just said.
You know, so I mean,
Yeah,
yes, you've got a
Jeremy,
lot of
I
money
think
that's made by the novelty items that Ferrari makes. You know, I do agree with you. A lot of the fans do contribute a lot of their money, but you know, the fans are only a certain percentage of what the teams get in.
No, I'm with you on that point. I can't argue with that. But the truth of the matter is, Ivan, if Formula One will allow a team to come in, it shouldn't be, you know, because of the replacement of another.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
I'm not for
If they
that.
could add extra, if they could have additional teams, I think it'll just bring another dynamic to the sport. You know, back in the early 80s and 90s, when you had the 26, 27, 32 cars on the line, you know, on the same racetrack, there was a lot more overtakes because you had different places, different teams, different mindsets, you know. So yes, that will also bring more of the overtaking factor back within the sport.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Oh, yellow flag in sector 1, guys. Just trying to see if I can
That would have been just
find anything.
That would have no doubt been somebody going wide. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Willem in the pits now. He'll be going on to the softs.
And while we've had our discussion, I mean, if you have to look at it, Kieran is what, on lap 28 of those medium tires.
It'll be 29 in the end of this lap. Yes. Does it? Oh, hang on. Heads up. Just a camera shot there. Stephen. Yeah, Stephen can see the Red Bull ahead of him. He's 3.5 seconds behind. You can see the Red Bull ahead of him.
The Mercedes really have it on top of the Red Bull today. It's now the second time that he's been catching up, but it's also by good player strategy because every time it's on new tires and then maintaining the gap that it pulls while the Red Bull is using up these tires. I might, you know, if I can say it like that.
be very surprised if Kieran tries to go to the end of the race on these tyres. He's done 29 laps on them. The track is very well rubbered in at this point, but it'd have to be crazy to be able to try and get to the end of the race on the tyres you're on, in Kieran's case.
No, he won't.
And try and keep the position on the track.
No, I don't think that will be. I don't think that will be the case, Kenzie, because he's going to be running the risk for a puncture in the first place. In the second place, you won't have any tyre left to go around the track. So I don't think another 10 laps on those. You're going to be ending up at lap 40, 41 on those tyres. I don't think you're going to be making it, to be honest.
Well, you know what? From a strategy point of view, I think Kieran Red Bull should be putting in their driver, putting him on the soft tyres now for those last 10 sprint runs. He's got the gap. He's got 27.4 seconds ahead of Anthony in the Alpha, so he should be able to comfortably take second place and give us a good show for the last 10 laps.
10 laps, yeah.
Yep. I agree that is what should be happening, but if it does, it's all to be seen. And the moment we have the Alpha challenging Michael Booker for 7th place, being 8 tenths behind him now. And we've seen Michael Booker not being able to be as consistent in this race as what he would have hoped for. Alvin pointed out earlier, this has been short notice for him to replace Callum, and maybe a lack of practice around the track has. I think he's become a little bit more consistent now in the end, eh?
Well, you know,
that sounds currently, but
look at it like this. I mean, you've done what 56 laps on this track. You've definitely worked yourself into a groove. So I'm sure he's now just got himself into that nice paced,
comfy zone,
and he just needs to keep himself together, and then he should be able to keep that second place.
And that's Kieran just coming to the pits now. 31 laps on
let's see what tyre he goes for.
It's going to need to be the softs. He's going to need to give it everything he has. Softs it is. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up.
That's a good call.
He's going to have a lot of ground to make up. He has any chance of getting that race win. He's 17. You see what the gap is, 18 seconds. You're looking at roughly 2 seconds a lap. It's a tall order at this point, but you never know. Got 9 to go after this.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. It's definitely going to come to the wire.
We'll definitely wait and see what happens. If Stephen can keep his lap times consistent, then Jimmy could be in trouble as far as trying to get that race win's concerned.
If you guys noticed, this is now quite a spread track. If you look at the intervals between the cars, I think the closest at the point is 3 seconds, 3.9 seconds, and that's from Kyle in 9th place to the Alfa Romeo in front of him. The rest is all about 4 seconds.
Well, it is coming towards the section or the last few laps of the race, but I think we definitely need to be keeping an eye out on first and second. Definitely Kieran, as we can just keep an eye on his times. Well, you know,
Gary is gaining a second in the last 2 laps.
Yes,
and
but
now down to 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, but
that
meanwhile,
Gary is gaining a battle.
Meanwhile, with Kieran trying to hunt Stephen down at his current pace, he's only catching Stephen at roughly a second a lap at the moment. It doesn't look like he's going to get the race win today.
Well, then he's definitely pushing for that
tough
fastest
order.
lap.
We'll wait and see what happens. You're on lap 58. There'll be 7 laps to go after this.
Gary
gap
has
down.
pulled another second.
Yes, I was just about to mention that the gap between Gary and Caesar.
And Gary's on 19 laps in the medium. Caesar is on 17, although it's a Ferrari against a Racing Point. So it looks as
Straight
if
line speed's going to come into play here. I mean, it is running the Mercedes motor, so he should have a decent talk around the corners. But
1.5 seconds.
the Ferrari's definitely got the better pace down the straight.
So the gap's down to 15.7 seconds between Stephen and Kieran. Kieran's not going fast enough, but the interesting thing is, Stephen, his ERS is at 0. Mind you, so's Kieran's for that matter.
If the drivers could overhear us discussing any of these guys' ERS modes, I think we would have seen a different race.
Well,
Gary is
this
now
is what we can see as commentators. So
in DRS. Yeah, the in DRS range now on Caesar for fourth. It's a matter of moments. I'm on board with Gary at the moment.
And as I say that, Stephen did turn his ERS up momentarily. Kieran's turned this up to 3 now. And
Willem Brits has just taken 10th place. He's in the points.
And Kieran did set the fastest lap of the race.
what was that time, if I may ask you now?
The time
So I'm streaming via the multi-view, so I'm currently not able to see that.
the time for Kieran, 1:21.546, less than a tenth faster than Stephen's fastest lap. But that gap is starting to tumble. Gap's down to 14 seconds now. 6 to go after
6
this.
laps, 14 seconds. It's been done in Australia. I don't see why we couldn't do it now.
Gary is half a second behind Caesar now.
Let's keep an eye on that for the time being. And Kieran, 120.8. Where did he pull that one from? He's got the gap down to 13 seconds. He's got the gap down to 13 seconds. And Gary's got such a good drive out of turn 9. Heading out to turn 10. He's going to try on the outside. Nope, nothing coming of it.
I think he's going to be patient and going down the main straight coming to corner 1 and 2.
Missing the line, costing him time there.
Is he going to still be within DRS range? Just. He's not going to be close enough to make an overtake on this occasion.
DRS is wide open. He'll be kicking himself.
I wouldn't blame him.
Moment.
Very good on the braking though.
Yeah. You can see he's struggling for grip now with those tyres. I think they're a bit overheated now, being behind Caesar. See the car moving around on the track.
And once again, like you mentioned, he's now in the dirty area. It's not the best place you want to be coming around the technical side of this track.
No, does tend to move your car the way you don't want it to move.
There's 5 laps to go. And Kieran can't get that lap time down. He can't get the gap down. The gap's hovering around the...
Come on!
He's hovering around the 14-second mark. Kieran can't make any progress.
We'll stick with a battle here with Gary and Caesar.
This is it now. This is it now. It's
He got a much better drive out of the last corner. He goes for the move, and he makes it stick. Gary's now up into fourth.
Well done.
Fantastic from Gary Braddon.
Against Caesar. It's just a good overtime. Wow.
Absolutely brilliant. Now it looks like he's going to start pulling away, but they've done a similar amount of laps on their respective tyres. They're both on mediums. Gary's tyres are 2 laps older, but he's got so much more pace.
Here's another one for you guys. Kyle on the Alfa Romeo for 8th place.
Kyle bearing down on Keegan. And oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. Waddington's in the pits. Anthony Waddington is in the pits. With the way the gap looks,
Could that give Gary Braddon third?
it could mean Gary takes the podium. Waddington on the hard?
It's going to be so tight.
Waddington on the hard. That's
On the horse.
That's a bizarre move. That's a very
I think he
bizarre
came
move.
in and pitted and then chose the wrong tyre.
Oh, that
Guys, Kyle just overtook the Alfa for 8th place while we were checking out the pit lane.
that could prove costly for Waddington. But for one saving grace he does have is that Gary's tyres are going to start to fall off the cliff soon. There's 4 seconds between them, 3 laps to go. Gary could still get a slot on the podium here. This ain't over yet, folks.
It's a tall order for 24 lap old mediums, but let's see. It is an Alfa and it is a Ferrari, so let's see what happens.
The difference between the works team and the contractor team.
The senior team. Let's see what happens.
The gap's still hovering around the 4-second mark.
Yeah. It's the new tyre versus the old.
Stephen keeping
Bearing
it.
in mind that the old. Sorry.
Stephen keeping it consistent. Meanwhile, keeping the gap at round about 13 seconds. And unless something spectacular happens to Stephen in the last couple of laps, he's going to take his 2nd win of the season.
Sure. Alright, gentlemen, I think it's rightfully asked driver of the day, in your opinion?
Well, that is a tough call. You've got Gary Braddon,
Mine
who
in
had
mind.
incidents. We've had 3 incidents with Gary Braddon, and he's still coming up in 4th place. Caesar running a decent race. I'd say my driver of the day would probably be between probably Kieran in the Red Bull or the Anthony in the Alpha.
I've got my 2 drivers, and I'm going for Gary or Willem Britt. Willem Britt starting almost right at the back of the grid in a Williams, able to make points. 10th place at the moment. Gary Braddon getting the worst of the race start. Drove an essential great race to get up to 4th place again. So it's between those 2 for me, really.
My driver of the day, if I had to choose one, I would probably say Gary as well. Despite a spectacular incident at the start, he's done very well to get back up into 4th place. So yeah, I would definitely say for me, Gary, driver of the day. And I made
Okay, so that's 2 for Gary.
I made a small mistake regarding how many wins Stephen has. He won in Bahrain. He won in Baku 7 days ago. This will be his 3rd win of the season, and he'll further increase his lead in the championship.
What does the viewers think about Driver of the Day? Do we have anything there on the chat, or?
Well, I
quiet
have
there?
put the question out. I have put the question out there. It is very, very quiet on the chat. But this is the multi-view chat, so I'm not sure if you are getting anything on your side, Kenzie.
Nothing as of yet, but I'm sure they'll have their own opinions regardless. But Stephen Harrison is going to be taking it very easily now.
I've been disconnected, gentlemen.
Unfortunate. But nevertheless, Stephen Harrison coming around the final sequence of corners. It's his 3rd win of the season. He's going to edge another step closer to a potential championship in the bag. Stephen Harrison wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Kieran coming around the final corner now. A great drive from him. 2nd place. A great drive all round. Is Gary going to be able to get that slot on the podium? It doesn't look like it's going to happen. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. The gap's 4 seconds. It's highly unlikely at this point. Kieran does have the fastest lap, so if he'll get that fastest lap point, and Gary's not going to be able to catch Waddington. So Waddington about to cross the line to take 3rd place. There it is. Waddington completes the podium. Gary through in 4th. And it is Gregor that is going to get the fastest lap outside the top 10.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
There we go. Good evening, good evening, Stephen, and congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you.
I just gonna try and get the rest of the podium in.
Yep. Hello?
So we had the Mercedes, Red Bull, Alfa, Ferrari, Racing Point, Mercedes, Toro Rosso, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Willem Brits in the Williams in 10th. So it was quite a really good race there for the Alfa Racing driver this evening, and the Red Bull and coming in 2nd, and the winning car for this evening's race, Stevens Mercedes.
There we go, that's 2/3 of the podium here. We've just got to wait on Kieran now. Speaking of which, there we go. So there we go. So here we go. We've got our podium with us this evening. Third place, Anthony Waddington. Second place, Kieran in the Red Bull. But of course, the winner this evening, Stephen Harrison. Stephen, congratulations on your win this evening. That's your third win of the season. How are you feeling?
Absolutely buzzing off that one, to be fair. An hard track, not a very hard track. I didn't think I'd do as good as I did. Put it on pole as well. Did not expect that.
With the late pit stop that Kieran made to potentially try and stop you from getting that race win, when you saw the gap starting to decrease, did you feel concerned that he might take the race win from you?
No, there's just no. There's no pace. I had pace on the middle stint, and I was catching him and reeling him in, and I was just about in front. So I knew I was safe. I had everything on standard. Saved a bit of fuel. Set my own fastest lap, 3 laps to the end, and just pushed for the last two. I knew we weren't coming. The Red Bull's just not as fast, to be honest. Obviously, but I like the challenge, but I knew I was safe. To be quite honest.
So with the transfer window in effect now, you're not concerned about losing your seat at any point.
Definitely not. I'll be looking at going for driver number 1 soon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we head to Canada in 2 weeks' time. Stephen, again, thanks very much for your time, and again, congratulations on your win.
No problem. Congrats to second and third as well.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Congratulations on that win.
Kieran, second place in the Red Bull this evening. A fantastic result for you, potentially giving you a good boost into the transfer window.
Well, yeah, it's giving me a good boost. I'm not going to go for Ferrari seat or Merc seat because I'm not quick enough to go there. But I'll see what I could do with the Red Bull.
Did you feel towards the end of the race, after you made your last stop, that you had a chance of potentially taking the race win from Stephen after going onto the soft tyres?
I did try, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, nah, if I don't push now, I don't think I can get it. But you got to push all the time, never give up, and I never did give up. It was still, I brought it down from 18 seconds, I think, down to 11. So I'm happy with that, but yeah, I don't think I could have.
One consolation prize you did get out of that is that you also got the fastest lap this evening, which will definitely show that you've definitely got the race pace to be able to get that fastest lap point. Should you be able to?
Yeah, I've definitely found my feet in Red Bull now, because before I didn't really like it actually. It was too slidey. It was probably my setup, but now I've actually tuned it all up properly. It feels perfect. It feels like a proper dream.
Well, that's great to hear. Do you feel confident you'll be able to go one better in Canada?
Yep, Canada's one of my good tracks, and yeah, it's the only thing we'll struggle on is the short and speed. So we will try and do our best.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens in 2 weeks' time. Kieran, thanks very much for your time, and well done on your second place.
Thank you.
Anthony, another third place this evening. There's no stopping you over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it's probably the amount of time I spend on games, to be fair.
Yeah, so yeah, and with the pace that you've with the pace that you've shown and the results that you've been able to deliver over the last couple of races, do you think you could potentially be within a shout of having a permanent seat in the transfer window?
I hope so. I've already got a permanent one on Sundays, so I'm pushing for it. Put it that way.
Yeah. From your perspective, how did you manage to do? How did you manage to deliver the performance you did this evening?
It's consistency. That's all it is. If you're consistent and you don't make mistakes, you get good results.
Yeah, and if you had the choice, if you wanted to put a transfer request in, if you had the choice, which team would you like to be able to head to?
To be fair, I want to stay with Alpha and Ben because he was the first person to give me my opportunity. So I think I owe a lot to him in that aspect.
Well, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So, Anthony, thanks very much for your time, and again, big congratulations on your performance this evening.
Thank
Gentlemen,
you.
just before we go offline, I wanted to ask you guys. The commentators asked Callum, the CEO, earlier this evening if we could do a no-holds-barred Monaco race next week with all classic cars on the grid. Would you guys be interested in doing something like that?
I say bring it on.
I love Monaco, but I have made plans already, so I'll be missing whatever goes down on Saturday. Afraid, but that sounds like a mint idea.
Well, I'm sure the admins will be taking that into consideration. But we'll wait and see what happens, whether it happens next week or at some other point during the season. But thanks very much for your time this evening, guys. And that brings us to the end of this evening's coverage of the Talk of the Devil Racing League. Tomorrow it's the Extreme 1 Racing League, but it'll be 5 p.m. UK time. It's when we will be starting. You'll have me in the commentary box. Willem, I believe you managed to get a slot on the grid for tomorrow's race.
William has unfortunately disconnected, so yes, he has ended up getting a reserve seat in the Extreme 1 League. So it'll be quite interesting to see if he actually does get an opportunity to drive. Otherwise, I'm sure he will be joining you as guest commentator, as I will be in my McLaren seat tomorrow as well.
Indeed, it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. But until tomorrow night, folks, thanks very much for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow evening for the Extreme 1 Racing League for round 5 of the championship. But until then, it's good night, and thanks for watching.
Thank you guys, good night.